All right, good morning, everyone. It is 9:30. We will call the Cumberland County Salary Board and Board of Commissioners meetings to order. We'll begin with the Salary Board and begin with the roll call, please.
Commissioner Meter.
Here.
Commissioner Fauci.
I'm here.
Commissioner Eichelberger. Controller Wickham.
Here.
All right, we will open it up to public comment. Is there anyone in the room that would like to provide public comment? Anyone online, Lauren? Okay. We'll proceed with the approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of April 25th.
I'll second. It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next up, the salary board actions.
I'll make a motion to approve the salary board actions except for the district attorney's office.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next.
I would make a motion to approve the district attorney's items.
I'll second the motion.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None? Okay. Thank you, Sean. Al, is there any other salary board
No other
actions?
business. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. No other business. We are adjourned. We will roll into the Board of Commissioners meeting and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will call the Board of Commissioners meeting to order and begin with the roll call, please.
Commissioner Meter.
Here.
Commissioner Fauci.
I'm here.
Commissioner Eichelberger.
Is there anyone here seeking to provide public comment on non-agenda items? Anyone online, Lauren? Okay, then we will roll into the agenda items.
Thank you, Commissioner. The next component of the agenda is the consent agenda. This is a list of routine items that do not appear to be controversial in nature and which seem to not require any additional discussion. Now would be the time to make a request if you would like to have discussion on any of these items. Hearing none, seeing none, Commissioners, I would request approval of the consent agenda, which is agenda items 4 through 12.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
And it's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That takes us to the regular agenda.
Thank you, Commissioner. So the regular agenda is a list of non-routine items, and they will be discussed and may be acted upon individually. And we'll start with agenda item 13, and I'll call on Carrie Finkenbinder to provide some discussion for us about laying the 2024-2025 fiscal budget on view.
Good morning. We're here to request approval to lay the 24-25 fiscal budgets on view. Total revenue is 88 million and total expense is 88.7 million. And of that revenue, 69 million is grants. Are there any questions?
Carrie, the only question that I would make for folks watching, because we have two different budgets that we combine into one. And so the budget that we are referencing now is for the departments that follow the state's fiscal budget being July 1 through June 30.
That's correct.
Correct. Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions?
None from me?
Thank you.
Thank you. Entertain a motion for that?
I'll move for approval.
I'll second. It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Commissioners. So that takes us to the contracts and grants portion of the agenda, and I'm going to ask Angela Smyser to cover that.
Thank you, Stacy. Good morning, everybody. Moving on to agenda item 14, I will call on Jamie Reiber to discuss the contract for children and youth. Just one for you today, Jamie.
Just one right now. Chester County Youth Center provides detention and shelter services for us. Their detention is increasing from 400 to 465 per day, and shelter increasing from 265 to 310 per day. These are actually pretty comparable and low at this point in time. We also don't use them very often. They are in Chester County, and their in-county youth take precedence over ours, but we do have them as a backup when needed. Any questions?
Jamie, I guess we're fortunate to have them as a backup.
Yes.
Any questions for Jamie?
I will move to approve the Chester County Youth Center contract for children and youth.
I'll second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Jamie.
you. Thanks.
Moving on to agenda item 15, I will call on Vince McCollum to discuss the contract for the Conservation District. Good morning, Vince.
Good morning. Emily Stambaugh is sitting in here with me. This morning, we're just here to get approval for an agreement with the U.S. Geologic Survey. This is to help develop a satellite remote sensing tool, which will aid in cover crop estimations for winter cover crops on agricultural fields. Currently, the Conservation District has a cover crop program, and staff goes out and field verifies the amount of stand or percent stand of the cover crop. So working with USGS, they're going to hope to incorporate satellite remote sensing into making estimations of that cover crop rather than spending the staff time to go out and field verify it. This agreement, there's no additional staff time that's going to be required, no cost to the Conservation District. Most of the information we already have to be able to share with USGS. The only additional time that might be necessary is to take some additional pictures to share with USGS. This information is going to be kept confidential, and there's not going to be any information, any sensitive information shared. It's only going to be information about the fields, size of the fields, crop type, that kind of information. If there's any technical details about how this is going to work, I'll ask Emily to help with that, but that's the nature of the agreement we're looking for approval.
Very good. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
I don't have a question, but I know this is very exciting for conservation to have this partnership with the Geological Survey. I'm so glad that this is working out.
Yeah,
Vince,
and
this
with it,
time, won't it? I mean,
I'm sorry, what was the question?
For you
Yes,
all.
correct. Moving forward, once they get this tool underway, it would save staff time from having to go out and verify all those cover crop fields if they can do it sort of in-house with remote sensing.
Perfect. Any other questions for Vince? All right, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the United States Geological Survey contract for the Conservation District.
I'll second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vince. Moving on to agenda item 16, I will call on Elizabeth Grant to discuss the contracts for planning. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning. So we have for your consideration today 2 contracts. The first is for Weaver Environmental Consulting for professional engineering and design services and technical assistance to prepare for the construction of agricultural best management practices, including waste storage facilities, heavy use area protection, and structures to manage stormwater runoff. And the first is for 251 Goodhart Road. And the amount for that contract is $45,000 to be paid through the Department of Environmental Protection's Countywide Action Plan. The second contract is also with Weaver Environmental Consulting, and that is in the amount of $42,700 for 44 Ponderosa Road, and that is to be paid through the Department of Environmental Protection Countywide Action Plan funding, and also through National Fish and Wildlife Innovative Nutrient and Sediment Reduction Grant.
Any questions for Elizabeth on either of those?
None for me. Entertain a motion.
I'll move for approval.
I second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to agenda item 17, I will call on Sue Carvall to discuss the contracts for MHIUD. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, so we have a list of contracts here. The first 2 contracts are for this fiscal year. They're for early intervention. The first one is for Leah Blake. It is an amendment for special instruction that she does for us. It's an increase of $10,568. The second document there is from Tri-County Community Action. It is an MOU for future EI referrals to Cumberland Perry MHIDD from the Tri-County Community Action. So on that one, we're just asking for your signature on that. Moving on to the contracts for the new fiscal year 2025. There's a list of them here. Now, I just want to say that the EI new and the renewals are based on the year ending billing projection for the current fiscal year. So you're going to see some decreases there. But what we do is monitor those contracts then throughout the fiscal year, and we adjust them as necessary. So the first contract for fiscal year 2025 is for Barbara Weber. She is a speech therapist. Her contract is going to be for $7,773. The next one is for Soviet Therapy. It's a new contract for fiscal year 24-25. It is for occupational therapy, physical speech therapies, and special instruction. Her contract will start at $195,978. Jennifer Snyder's contract for fiscal year 24-25 it's for physical therapy. It will start at $24,746. Joanne Peters' contract for fiscal year 25 is for occupational therapy. It will start at $3,516. Christy Musselman's contract for fiscal year 24-25 will be for special instruction and start at $8,536. Feeding Little Bellies contract for 24-25 is for nutrition support, $60,018. Excuse me. Nicole Custer is for occupational therapy. For fiscal year 25, her contract will start at $19,083. And Central PA Therapy Connections for fiscal year 25, it's for language interpretation, occupational, and speech therapy. And it will start at $50,731. Then the last contract there is a mental health contract. It is with Susquehanna Software. It is the renewal for fiscal year 24-25. It will be for $52,800. And it is for the MHIDD-EI software maintenance support contract. Is there any questions?
None for me. Thank you, Sue.
You're welcome.
I would ask my colleagues to please pull the Tri-County Community Action from the motions that would be made. I will be recusing myself from that, even though there's no financial implication to that agreement. I do serve on the Tri-County Community Action Board and will not be voting.
Okay.
So Sue, I think I think one of the things that's really important for the public to know is that all these contracts are state funded. The state funded MHIDD dollars are so important to services in this county. I want to make sure that the public. We need those dollars.
It's all state funded, yes.
I will make a motion to approve the contracts on agenda item 17, but for the Tri-County Community Action contract.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 And now I will move to approve the Tri-County Community Action contract.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. I will abstain. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you, Sue.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Sue. And with that, I will turn the meeting back over to Stacy.
Thank you, Angela. So that does take us to agenda item 18, which is capital projects request. And we'll start with Bob DeGrossa for the Controller's Office to discuss the pension administration software. Bob?
Good morning, Commissioners. I am requesting approval today of the revised capital project 23 2023-66. This capital project is for the pension administration system. This project was approved by the retirement board at the last retirement board meeting, pending procurement through the standard county purchasing process, of which the capital project is part of that. The total 5-year cost for the project is $460,000. Of that amount, approximately 175 to 190,000 is implementation fees that will be paid in year 1 and 2. After that, starting in year 1, then there is an ongoing software as a subscription price of roughly $50,000 each year as the cost to use the system. As it stands right now, this would be paid for 100% by the retirement fund. I am putting an application into the record improvement fund to explore financing the implementation cost, the 175 to 191,000 out of the record improvement fund. I'm told that they meet in July, so we should be able to make that determination in July. Assuming that it is eligible for that, then anything from the implementation cost that we would have paid between now and then, we would certainly then reimburse the retirement fund for that and pay any items moving forward from the record improvement fund. So that piece is still outstanding, pending the gathering of the group and the determination there. But as it stands, even without that, there would be no general fund monies for this project. Any questions I can answer at this time?
I don't have any.
Thank you.
Entertain motion?
I'll move for the approval as outlined by the controllers. Deputy Controller.
I'll second. It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Bob. So that takes us into agenda item 19, which is the capital project request from the Sheriff's Office for a van. We have Brian Ward here joining us to discuss.
I was just watching traffic go by. Do you guys get tired of people asking for money? I know it's the name of the business. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm here to do the same thing. We do have a life cycle for our vehicles. It projects 5 years out. The next one up is a replacement of the van, one of our transport vans. So our business has morphed over the years where we have a van now that's new that does surrounding county pickups. We put miles on it, and that's weekly. We're going to surrounding counties. People that make poor choices seem to make them in a bunch of different counties. So we do a lot of trips in that van. This van would be the workhorse that goes back and forth to the prison mostly. It is driven by the insert or the equipment that we put in it. So there's one company in the business and they're great. It's called Havas, and they're out of Warminster, PA, outside of Philly. Havas only makes inserts for 3 different types of vans: Dodge, Chevy, Ford. Dodge wouldn't suit. Chevys you can't get. Fords are everywhere. And ironically enough, even though the insert price is a third of what I'm asking for, that particular insert's the cheapest because they make more of them and they don't have to make as much money on them because they move more volume. The inserts, the way the van would be set up, it's partitioned. We can put 4 people in the front compartment, and if they're smaller, it can hold 12 people. And it's optioned to be able to haul around that weight safely and whatnot. And that's really it. The amount I will say, the amount there has been reduced by $330. So I unselected an option from Ford because I can do it cheaper a different way. So it's $330 less. If that makes you happy.
Every $300.
I'm trying to.
Thank you.
I'm trying to help.
There is one additional cost savings that we heard at the capital projects meeting. Because of that additional partition, they'll be able to transport males and females at the same time.
Yeah, we can mix
right. So
genders and save on trips.
Potentially fewer trips.
Yes, and it's a useful setup.
Yeah, perfect.
So, thank you for entertaining me. And
usually it's the other way around.
Nah, I get a kick of coming down here talking to you guys. It's all good. And that's it. Any questions?
Thank you, Brian. I don't have any.
Very good. Thank you,
Anyone
everybody.
else?
Good to see you all.
I will move to approve the capital project request for the sheriff's office for transport van purchase with a total project cost of $96,591.
Excellent, thank you. You get a chance to go out the front door. Kevin and Dalton are planting flowers. It looks very nice. Oh.
Okay,
Yeah,
I will
it's
second, so it's
It's
kind of.
moved and seconded.
I'm
All in
already on to
favor,
the
say
next
aye.
project.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right,
Yep,
now go look at the flowers.
keep moving, right?
Yep.
Thank you.
See you, everybody.
Pulling a ward in there.
Yes.
Warden did that same thing. I do expect a phone call probably as soon as this meeting is over, going, what are you doing, Stacy? What are you doing? To me. Thank you, commissioners. And so that does take us then to agenda item 20, and it looks like we've got Marcus Snyder here to discuss the capital project request for vector control. Morning.
Morning. Vector Control is seeking approval for a Promise ULV. It's a truck mounted sprayer. We had one that we purchased in 2016, and then in 2023, it started to have major issues, which kind of disrupted the program throughout the summer. We kind of limped it along throughout the season until August of 2023, where it became unrepairable. So we requested in our DEP mosquito-borne disease grant the money for a new ULV sprayer, and that was approved by the DEP. So that's the money that's there to fund us getting a new sprayer, and that also includes the program used to track and run the sprayer from the back of the truck. So everything's included in the grant. Is there any questions about that?
I actually do just have one question for you, Marcus. We purchased the previous spray that started giving us problems in 2016. Expected life cycle of that, like we would expect to come forward at this time, right? We've gotten sort of our money's worth out of that sprayer, correct?
Yeah,
And
so there's a
time
bunch. Good.
Correct.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of like little parts in the sprayers that wear over time, and about eight-ish years is pretty good to get out of a sprayer that's well taken care of.
Thank you.
Again, Marcus, the one thing you had indicated that this is covered under a DEP grant, correct?
That is correct. Yes, the mosquito-borne disease grant.
Perfect. Thank you. Someone like to make a motion?
I'll move for the approval of the mosquito sprayer suggestion.
I'll second. It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Marcus. Okay, that takes us to our last capital project request, and Angela is going to be discussing a mail machine replacement project.
Thank you, Stacy. Good morning again. So the lease for the mail machine, this is the one that's in the main courthouse down in the mail room. We provide mail services to a variety of county offices. The lease expires this year. There's also technology requirements called IMI compliance that USPS will be requiring by the end of this year. Our current machine does not meet those needs, so we needed to find a new machine for two reasons. We vetted different vendors, looked at different types of machines that are out there, and have decided we want to stay with the Pitney Bowes machine. We have found a machine that's very similar to what we have now. So we're looking to get something like a Senpro Mail Center 3000. It is more than capable of handling our volume of mail and everything that we have that comes through the mailroom downstairs. We're also seeking an additional feature where the scale has a built-in label printer to do UPS and FedEx shipping directly from the machine. Lots of cost savings there, ensuring that anything that we're shipping out, it's notifying us, hey, this is the most affordable way to send out this outgoing package. And we have also found a new vendor that we would like to go through. They're a local Pitney Bowes retailer called Green Trail Solutions, and I think they will solve any of the customer service concerns we may have had with our previous lease agreement. And we're really excited to move forward with it. Any questions for me?
I like the option that it tells you the cheapest route to send something, because normally it's me schlepping into the postal
Yes, every
post office saying, how can I get there?
every
How
piece
can I
of
get
mail
this
we put
there?
on that machine, it's going to say this is the most cost effective. And we also get, because we have a UPS business account, additional discounted rates for utilizing them more often as well. So even more savings.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I will move to approve the capital project request for the Commissioner's Office for mail machine replacement for the total project cost of $45,000.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners. So that takes us then to Commissioners' liaison reports, and Commissioner Mueller, I'll start with you.
Yes, it was a busy week since our last meeting, and I am just going to rattle off a few things that happened or events that happened around the county that we participated in. I attended the DCED Small Business Week kickoff at the West Shore Theater. I toured the Penn State Health Medical Center in Hampton. All three of us toured Project Share and participated in the Mental Health Awareness Walk, which was on a beautiful day and very successful. Commissioner Fashi and I attended the Aging Volunteer Appreciation Lunch, as well as the United Way of Carlisle and Cumberland County Women's United Lunch, where we led a discussion on women leadership. And Jean, I did a subsequent follow-up with the Bosler to tour the Children's Garden. I know you attended the opening. It's a lovely, lovely space. Commissioner Eichelberger and I attended the Municipal Leaders Breakfast at the Friedrichsen Library, and I attended the Silver Spring Open House, along with the Hampton Tank dedication at their Veterans Park. You can see that as you're traveling on 81 right near the Wurtsville exit. I participated in the Women in Dairy event at the Central Wedge Cheese Shop and was delighted to see so many women entrepreneurs starting their own dairy-related business, as well as the 70th annual Cumberland Valley FFA banquet at Cumberland Valley High School. There was a large and impressive group of students that are involved in that program, and it really made me hopeful for the continuation of agriculture within Cumberland County. And on that same vein, we had our ag board meeting yesterday. In addition to the standard updates, we held a very lengthy discussion surrounding the goal of 30,000 acres by 2030, because it will be here before we know it. We are ahead in our projections there. And where is this program going, and where do we need it to go within the county? Stephanie Williams did a great presentation. It is in all of your inboxes, so I won't repeat that, but I know that they will be meeting with each of my colleagues individually to discuss their thoughts surrounding where we go from here in ag preservation. Lastly, I participated on the Cumberland Perry Drug and Alcohol Community Advisory Board meeting, and the important key takeaway with this is that there is discussion, and there's going to continue to be discussion on county's use of the opioid trust fund dollars. I believe the trust fund is trying to also figure out what it's going to permit. So there's a lot of back and forth. I know our chief clerk is working very closely in making sure that we put those opioid dollars to best use. That is my update. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Fauci.
Well, good morning, Cumberland County. I would remind you to use the Cumberland County Library System. As we know, summertime is well on its way, and it's a good place to go to get materials to read. There's always an incentive for kids. It's just such a fantastic service that the library system offers. Couple of things. So the Cumberland County Special Response Team is having its inaugural golf tournament. And that will be on Friday, June 21st. It's a shotgun start at 8 a.m. at Rich Valley Golf Club. So boy, you want to get in there and go ahead and golf with that group. It's a fundraiser. It's fantastic. And they're having another fundraiser. It's a comedy show, and it will be held on May 25th at the Carlisle Fire and Rescue Services building.
Cop comedians, Officer Daniels, Vinnie Montez, and D.E. Kelly will be on stage bringing laughter, joy, and an unforgettable night to our area in hopes of raising funds for team training and equipment. It's just, what an interesting, cool thing to do. Like, this is just great. So those are good things to get to raise money for that special response team. The LEPC met, and those two things came out of the LEPC, but you know, something very interesting came out of it. Steve Spangler, who is the chair of the LEPC, has been visiting legislators, our delegation, to talk about the need for money, state funding for hazardous materials cleanup. He had a very successful interaction with Patty Kim, and he was a bit disappointed that he's having a hard time getting the attention of the remainder of the delegation. He really is committed to meeting with those members of the delegation rather than meeting with a staff person. So he is definitely working on that. That was the biggest takeaway from the LEPC. And I think it's very nice that Naomi from the Sentinel is attending those meetings and staying on top of those things. And I know that Steve was very instrumental in getting that done. HATSNet, there's a couple of interesting things going on at the Harrisburg Area Transportation Study. So the coordinating committee met. This is one of the biggest takeaways. So the public comment period for the draft 2025-2028 Transportation Improvement Program, fondly known as the TIP, and the associated air quality conforming determination is open May 1 to June 1. You can go and look at all of those things on the Harrisburg Area Transportation Study website. Copies of the TIP and the air quality materials are available for public review at the Tri-County Regional Planning Commission, the Cumberland County Planning Commission office, and the Perry County Planning Commission office. There's an in-person public meeting regarding the TIP, and that will be Wednesday, May 15th from 11:30 a.m. to 1 at the Strawberry Square Atrium. And there are virtual public meetings that will be held on Zoom. Tuesday was the first one. And then Thursday, May 23rd at noon. You can register on the HATS website. These things are so important for the public to go take a look at and comment on. Transportation improvement programs are not a secret. It's just that I don't think we talk about it enough to get people involved. Federal highway dollars. HATS submitted projects for reducing drunk driving. And this year, we are really learning that drunk driving is the biggest safety problem in the region. Beyond congestion, beyond all kinds of other things, it's drunk driving. So there's work going on about that. I'm just very excited to tell you about this. Norfolk Southern and Lemoyne entered into an MOU regarding trail development and stormwater right there at that Cap Ridge. This is such an exciting development with Norfolk Southern, and kudos to our municipalities for working on that, for Norfolk Southern for working on that, because this has been a project that is a long time coming, and our own Kirk Stoner has played a huge part in these things. So that's what I have on that. I went out to Shippensburg University last Friday for the ribbon cutting on their new archway. And that was really a great event, really very nice. So that's what I have. Thank you, Stacey.
Commissioner. Commissioner Eichelberger.
Okay, a handful of items. Mostly Recycling Authority. I did get an update from Justin Miller. Of course, we've all been getting input regarding the yard waste program, which is not a huge responsibility, but it's something that matters a great deal to our municipalities. So there's great concern there in terms of what's going to happen. What's the future of the yard waste program, which of course we're facing insurance coverage issues. So I think most of the information has been shared with the commissioners on a real-time basis. So there's not a whole lot more to add to that, except that Justin said he was moving a lot of equipment around this week. There's a push by the municipalities to get as much use out of the equipment before the July 1, which looks like the proposed suspension date for the program. until we find some other solutions. So, in fact, he sent me the note and said he's leaving in a few minutes to go move the leaf turner. So, but very important to our municipality. So, no breakthroughs on that yet. Obviously, keep you updated as things develop there. Reminder tire collection event is next Thursday and Friday, 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Right now, there's 54 people signed up, so there's some room there. Those tend to fill up somewhat at the last minute. There's we know we've got about 710 tires waiting for collection. Judd describes that capacity, that quantity as not bad. It's about 800 tires to fill the tractor trailer that the contractor brings in, and that's about what we did last year. So hopefully we have another good collection unit there. Obviously, lots of tires around. So we had some. They had some back and forth, Justin and Kirk, with the architect engineer on the proposed recycling center that's being revamped, reworked. It's a work in progress. So Judd anticipates there's going to be a draft drawing that will be shared with the authority at their May 20th meeting, and they'll gain input from the experts in the room on that. Of course, we had some discussion in regards to the publicly announced intention of Goodwill Industries to enter the electronic recycling marketplace, and a lot of questions hanging over that, including what impact that might have to our electronics recycling effort. Much to be decided and determined on that. So no answers on that, but we're observing that, reaching out to some of the other players, to DCNR in particular, to find out what's the shape of this thing and what impact might it have for good or for bad. So on recycling, that is it. MH Advisory Board meets next Thursday, and Aging Advisory Board meets next Friday. That's the 16th and 17th. And incidentally, I am out of town both those days. I am planning to Zoom into that, but if anyone else wishes to attend, I'm sure we have coverage there. Those are open dates, 12:15 and 12:30 respectively. So Thursday the 16th at 12:15 is MHIDD. The Aging Advisory is 17th, 12:30. And again, there's Zoom links for that if you want to do it that way. If anybody's interested, I'm planning to try that, assuming that I have good connectivity. So let's see, we have, I don't know what that means, so just scratch that out. Commissioner Nieder mentioned about the Project Share tour that we all did. That was very enjoyable. It's the first I've been back there since COVID. They've made substantial alterations physically and operationally to what they're doing, and it was a nice reminder that there's a lot of volunteers out there who are doing good work in our community, and we should be grateful for them. Also was mentioned the Municipal Leaders Breakfast for Frederickson Library in Camp Hill. That was interesting. Unfortunately, I couldn't stay for the whole thing, but I found it very interesting because it was sort of a not a roundtable, but a round robin session with member municipalities regarding emerging issues for them for the next decade. Obviously, with a bent toward how it's going to affect library system, but it brought up a range of other issues that I think point to some challenges that are going to be out there that we're going to be affected by as well. So I'm hoping we have more opportunities going forward to actually do something similar with municipalities and just we have a lot of smart people serving municipal government. It'd be really good to pick their brains in terms of directions that we may be setting as a county government as well. So just to put a plug in for that. And I think that's all I have for now. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. That takes us then to agenda item 23, which is a report of an executive session. It was held on May 2nd, 2024, 9:30 a.m. regarding personnel. And I'll now ask if there is any other business to come before the board today. Hearing none, seeing none, we are adjourned.